Good morning, student. Today we have discussed a new topic, that is introduction of water supply scheme. So first we see what necessity of water supply scheme. So what is the importance of water supply scheme? Then silence feature of water supply scheme. Then need to protect water supply scheme. Then flowchart of water supply scheme. Okay. So first introduction of water supply scheme. So water supply scheme involve first collection, then convey, then treatment and distribution of water. In early days, people live in small isolated area and their habit were such that they consume of water for drinking purpose, bathing, cooking purpose only. And each family collected water for its own use. This necessary water was collected from surface source like river, lake, and pond, etc. But the population increased day by day, town and city developed, and the habits of people are improved, trade and industry were established, and as a result, the demand of water increased considerably. The original small water sources becomes insufficient and large water source becomes producible. A large water source may be far away from the township and the quality of water may not be safe for drinking. The role of water supply scheme, that is collection, convey, treatment and distribution of water, comes handy here. For every town or city, administrative body, either municipality or corporation, has been established to look after the public health and to supply the potable water to the consumer after proper treatment. Nowadays, water is required for following purpose. So first, drinking and cooking, then bathing, washing of clothes, washing of vehicle, gardening purpose, swimming pool, fountain, fire uh, existing system, then number of industries, trade. At many places, water is lifted from the deep tube well by turbine pump and is supplied directly to the consumer without any treatment. However, in that case, also the water supply scheme becomes necessary to create a network of water. So this is a introduction of water supply scheme. So what is a importance of what is the importance of a treatment plant? So we construct the treatment plant. Firstly, we consider the data collection of water supply scheme. So first part is a data collection of water supply scheme. In that, component and layout and design period, factor affecting and factor affecting of design period. Then second part is a water intake structure. In that we can study general design consideration, type such of type such as the river intake, canal intake, and reservoir intake. Okay, and in next term we can study quantity of water. In that, rate of water consumption of various purpose like domestic, industrial, institutional, commercial, fire demand, and water system losses. And in the next part is a factor affecting the rate of demand of population forecasting. So first session is a data collection for water supply scheme. So which type of data is collected for water supply scheme? First, we study the need of water supply scheme. So the water supply scheme to provide optimum and safe water from drinking purpose and other purpose. For any water supply scheme, we require various field observation data like source of water, quantity and quality of water, and topography area. So following points should be considered while launching the water supply scheme. So firstly, availability of source, then fund available, then population, then quality of water, rate of consumption, sanitary survey. So first, source of water. So there are two sources of water, first surface source and second subsurface source. Then next, environmental asset of the water resource planning. So first, economical development and ecological losses, environmental audit, then sustainable development of the base. So step for water resource development projects. So first, accurate data collection involve first physical, climate, rainfall, economy, population, and cultural state, etc. Then second, geological structure of rock, infiltration rate. Then demographic, total population, density, growth rate, etc. Then next, spatial data, water demand and its variation. Then in that, projection of planning based on the future need to and design period. Then next, analysis of data and project drawing. So next is a project drawing. Types of drawing, the contour plan, then detailed drawing, then line diagram, then site plan, then topographical map. Then project report. In that, first acquisition of land, then alignment and gradient of pipeline, then design with detailed specification, current state, current status of water supply scheme, then financial aspect, then distribution network. In that, design and layout, then natural law of industrial development, then population forecasting, then expected revenue, then need of machinery, quality of water, then source, then purification of standard. So this is the general tree diagram of the general layout of the water supply scheme. First source, then first we can find out the zone source, then after source, then intake structure and pumping unit should be established. Then first unit of water supply scheme is screening, then sedimentation. This is the next unit of the water supply scheme, then filtration, then disinfection, then water softening and other treatment, then the treated water can be stored in elevated service reservoir, then ESR, and then distribution. So first, component of water supply scheme. So first, intake structure, screening unit, sedimentation tank, filtration unit, disinfection plant, then water softening and other treatment. It is optional. Then storage and distribution system. So next point is a point to be consideration while selecting location of water supply project. So following points should be considered. First, component project should be arranged in sequence for smooth supply. Then maximum use of gravitational flow to reduce cost and increase efficiency. Then future expansion can be possible if required. Then staff quarter should be in vicinity. Then laboratory must be located near to have a proper control over the quality of treated water. So next part is the design period. So what is your design period? The number of years for which the scheme has been designed. So normally design period should be considered 20 to 30 years. So life of structure is greater than design period. So factor affecting of the design period, first available of fund, then life of structure, then interest rate, then anticipated rate of population growth, including the shift and communities and industrial establishment. So next point is a table for in this table for design period for different component of water supply scheme. So in that, in first table, the component of different unit or different component and their design period. So storage of dam. So design period of the dam is nearly about 50 years. Then infiltration work, the design period should be considered 30 years. Then pump house, the life of pump house is up to 30 years. Then pump and electrical motors, 15 years. Then water treatment unit, the life of treatment unit or treatment construction, 15 years. Then distribution system, around 30 years. Then clear water of reservoir at headwaters. Then balancing tank and services wire is nearly about the 50%. So next part is a water intake structure. So water in water intake structure. So what is I mean by intake structure firstly? So the structure which withdraw the water from any surface source like river, canal, reservoir, or any underground source like well over the range of fluctuating level and supply the water to discharge pipe through which convey the treatment unit. So in short, the structure which constructed to storage the water from surface source or subsurface source. So factor governing the location of intake structure. So following factors should be considered. First, should be near the water treatment plant as to minimize the cost of convenience. So means intake structure should be near to the water treatment plant. Then intake structure should be located comparatively pure zone of water, reduce the load of water treatment plant. Then uh, intake structure should not be located downstream side of the sewage disposal site. Then intake structure should not be located turning of the river. Then intake structure be accessible even during flood and any mishappening place. Then should be away from the navigation channel. Then should be near the jack well. Should be sufficient area around the future expansion if required. So points should be taken for consideration while designing the intake structure. So first consider all factors while designing so as to ensure it is safety against heavy load due to waves, water current and floating matters. Should have sufficient weight and avoiding floating if located in navigation channel to prevent blow from ship, boats well protected with fender file. Then should have deep enough foundation to prevent the overturning. Should have large enough uh, inlet to allow the requirement quantity of water. Should have multiple inlet to withdraw the water from the different level from source. So next the types of intake structure. So following types of intake structure for submerged intake structure, uh, in short, lake intake, then exposed intake, then in exposed intake first canal intake, then reservoir intake, then in river intake or intake tower, in that wet intake tower or dry intake tower, then movable intake. So for first we consider the lake intake structure. So intake structure it means to collect the water from surface source or subsurface source. This is the main object of the intake structure. So first we can study the lake intake. So lake intake, a submergible rectangular chamber is constructed at the bed of the lake from where water can be available throughout the year. The top cover of the chamber consists of a serval hole grating on prevent the entry of debris, wet and aquatic life into the chamber. So in lake intake structure is constructed near by the lake. So this is a diagram of the lake intake. So next, so this is another diagram of the lake intake structure. Then next, canal intake structure. So canal intake structure are constructed in nearby the canal. So if canal becomes the source of water of for a town, then intake well be constructed by the bank of the canal. The well may be circular or rectangular and it's constructed with masonry work and inlet pipe inserted into the well for drawing for drawing the water on the canal side. The well consists of opening with the screen as shown in figure. The intake pipe is extended below the lowest water level of the canal and it carries hemispherical screen at the end. A manhole is provided on the well cap for inspection purpose. The intake pipe is connected to the pumping unit for sending the water to the treatment unit. So this is the introduction of the canal intake and this is the diagram of the canal intake structure. Then reservoir intake. So reservoir intake is constructed nearby the river side. So a circular and rectangular sump well is constructed with masonry work in the bank of the river in such way that the water can enter the well in both the conditions such as high flood level and low water level. The water enter the sump well through the pipes installed at the different level. The screen are provided at the end of the pipes to eliminate suspended matters. A main section pipe having strainer at the bottom is inserted into the sump well as shown in figure. The main pipe is connected to the pumping unit which deliver the water to the treatment plant. So this is a diagram of the reservoir intake. Then for earthen dam, this is the diagram for earthen dam. Then wet intake tower, dry intake tower, then again river intake. Then next part is